Our story begins in Zhongshan City amidst devastation everywhere following a volcanic eruption and an earthquake. The city is in chaos. The government is urging people to evacuate peacefully. People are really frustrated and wondering. Just a few days ago, an underwater earthquake and the eruption of Mount Fuji resulted in the deaths of tens of thousands of people. Now, unexpectedly, they too must evacuate. One woman is particularly worried because she left in such a hurry that she didn't bring anything. She plans to buy supplies in Zhengan City. However, a man next to her asks if she hasn't seen the news, explaining that the goods in the Walmart and Ali warehouses in Zhengan City have all been moved. Another man, upon hearing this, replies that this is old news. Today, Dalming Lake and Shenqing dried up, and the Durong warehouse was empty too. Shocked by this, the woman realizes that the total value of these items is probably in the hundreds of billions. Suddenly, she hears a voice saying that the total value of these supplies should actually be in the tens of trillions. He's our protagonist, who explains that the loss of supplies and various natural disasters are just the surface. He urges them to open their eyes and see that the end of the world is coming. Upon hearing this, the woman asks him if he is joking. The man sitting with her starts laughing at our protagonist, asking if he is kidding. If it's really the end of the world, he is actually looking forward to it. That's when all living beings are equal. Our protagonist does not look happy because even at the end of the world there is no equality for all living beings. He has personally experienced this in his previous life. He was just a normal delivery guy. Then the apocalypse descended due to the abnormal release of solar energy causing atmospheric temperatures to rise sharply and frequent crustal movements. Monsters hidden underground also surfaced. The whole world changed. A new world, a new order. In that world of extreme scarcity, even a packet of instant noodles or a slice of ham sausage was a luxury. You had to give up everything for them. Our protagonist was reborn a month before the apocalypse. A beautiful lady approached him expressing her fear and asking for comfort. However, our protagonist, being an Alpha Sigma, had more important things to do in the apocalypse. What's most important? Supplies. In his last life, he wasted time searching for supplies, but this time he must be prepared in advance. His boss was furious because he was 21 seconds late for work and deducted half of his salary. Sachin asks for forgiveness as he walks into the warehouse. However, he didn't care. In his last life, when the apocalypse started, the boss ran away in advance and his annual salary went down the drain. So, he decides to take the supplies as compensation. He opens his dimensional inventory to store all the supplies. Suddenly, a system notification popped up detecting rice, cooking oil, meat, automatically storing. This is his power, spatial ability. As long as he unfolds this ability, he can put everything around him into a super large cubic space with dimensions of 10,000 meters in length, width, and height according to his will. This provides great convenience for obtaining supplies at no cost. Relying on this ability, he dried up to freshwater lakes and plundered several cities destined to be destroyed in the apocalypse. In these times, even a packet of instant noodles is a luxury, not to mention fresh food. And in his dimensional storage, time is stopped, ensuring that no food goes bad no matter how long it's kept. Suddenly, he starts crying, overwhelmed by the thought. Finally, I don't have to eat dirt in the apocalypse like I did in my last life. After regaining composure, he opened his inventory to check the supplies he had gotten this time. Having collected so many resources, he could finally breathe a sigh of relief. However, his peace was short-lived. Other people arrived at the warehouse to move the goods out but were shocked to find it empty. They questioned him about where all the supplies went. Our protagonist doesn't give a shit about them and says I took everything. The manager was confused and wondered how he had managed this. However, catching Sachin was his top priority, so he ordered his team to apprehend him. Meanwhile, Sachin opened his dimensional door and stepped inside, mocking his manager by saying I wouldn't be late anymore. Everyone was shocked and puzzled about where Sachin had disappeared to. Outside the building, Sichan utilized his second ability, space jump. With this power, he could teleport within a 3-meter radius. This ability was invaluable in the apocalypse, allowing him to enter abandoned buildings for supplies and escape safely even when confronted by mutant monsters. Declaring his job done and his zero-cost shopping mission complete, Suchin prepared for the apocalypse with these newfound resources. Just then, his phone rang. The notification said that the Earth was experiencing intense geological movements and localized natural disasters were likely. But these were manageable and should not affect daily life. The message urged people not to panic excessively. However, Suchin knew better. The official statement was just to prevent panic, but he was aware that the end was near. His phone rang again, this time displaying his girlfriend Zhang Xiaoqian, who had betrayed him in the previous apocalyptic world. Despite his anger at seeing her name, Suchin calmed himself and answered the call. She accused him of disappearing and selling their house without her knowledge. Do you think you can find a woman willing to be with you after selling the house? What about your responsibility as a man? She challenged. Despite her claims of indifference towards the house, she insisted that giving her the house as a gift was the only way she could feel secure with him. Suchin, however, remained unmoved by her demands. He asked her if she had anything else to say. Upon hearing this, Zhang Ziqin became very angry and snapped at Suchin. What's your attitude? I'll give you another chance. Come back now and transfer the ownership to me, or don't even think about marrying me. But Suchin didn't care. He told her he was on his way back to Chengdu, and they would talk when he got back. He was really angry. In his previous life, they had spent 5 years in the apocalypse. He had searched everywhere for supplies to feed her, and even brought her into a safe zone. If it weren't for him, she would have starved to death during the apocalypse. Yet she betrayed him and killed him. Not just that, she slept with someone else in front of him, blaming him, saying his death was because he was incompetent. He felt deeply wronged in his past life. He had actually entrusted his trust and life to such a person. But this time, both Wang Haoyu and Zhang Ziqian would pay the price. He made up his mind. He wouldn't kill them easily. He wanted them to experience the pain he had endured 100, 1,000 times over. However, he calmed himself down, thinking about the future. He couldn't steal everything. The remaining things could only be bought with money. But first, he needed to figure out how to get the money. So he called manager Liu, accepting his offer to sell his house at half price, but he wanted cash, and he wanted it now. Sometime later, in front of Dream Real Estate, Suqian's girlfriend, Zhang Xiaoqian, and Wang Haoyu were waiting for him. When Suqian got out of the taxi, Zhang Xiaoqian told him that she had been waiting for him for quite a while. However, Suqian didn't care about her, and told her to move aside. But Wang Haoyu interrupted Suqian, demanding, "Who'll let you sell the house? Dare to sell my house, and I'll make sure you won't see the sun tomorrow." Wang Haoyu tried to threaten Suqian. However, Suqian didn't care. He grabbed Wang Haoyu by the neck and lifted him into the air, then threw him forcefully to the ground. He warned Wang Haoyu that he could handle his affairs however he wanted. Zhang Xiaoqian asked Suqian, "What are you doing?" and pleaded with him to let her brother go, as she started shouting for help. However, Suqian didn't care, and slapped her, leaving Zhang Xiaoqian in shock, wondering how he could do such a thing. Meanwhile, Wang Haoyu begged for forgiveness, asking Suqian to let him go. Suqian, seeing him in this state, started smiling and said, "Don't worry, you won't die too quickly." He then released him, and went into the building. After that, Zhang Xiaoqian checked on Wang Haoyu, and demanded that Suqian kneel down and apologize to him quickly. Otherwise, he could forget about marrying her in this lifetime. When Suqian turned his head towards them, they became terrified, and started running, threatening Suqian that they would get revenge for what he did to them. However, in Suqian's eyes, they were just worthless. Anyway, that's the end of the vid. Please like and subscribe to help the channel grow, and part 2 is coming soon.